Okay, well, moving forward, Darren. This was an interesting one. I found this very interesting as well.
Again, we're talking that's news to me.
We're heading into that's news to me. I'll give a little glockenspiel here.
Yep.
Bam, bam, bam. Okay, I found this super interesting. The amount of viewers. Take it from here, Darren.
Yeah, so I just recently, about a month ago, the CMT Country Music Television Music Awards was moved from actual CMT channel from last year to CBS/CBS Plus and Paramount. I watched this on the app, CBS Plus, which I happen to be a subscriber of, and I don't think it was on the regular CBS network. But anyway, the moving from CMT to CBS resulted in a 521% surge in audience. They went from 828,000 viewers last year, which is not that many,
Yep.
to a much bigger number, which I thought I had written down. I don't, but whatever, 521% increase of 828,
Yeah.
821,000 or 828,000 is quite impressive.
Yeah.
And
That
what
seems like historically impressive. Like that
Oh,
seems like
it's-
a massive jump.
how often you talk about something that, hey, we changed something up and we got a 521% increase in viewership.
I
That's
also am
not so.
surprised. I thought country music was on national television and therefore a bit more popular. I didn't know that it had been. To me, that would be
Moved.
pigeonholing it. Yeah, putting it only on the country music television.
What-
Because I feel like country music has a very big pop following and a pop aspect to it. So that surprises me on multiple levels.
Country music maybe, but not award shows.
Right.
I think people don't value award programming as much as they used
They're
to.
gonna watch them all now after what happened at the Grammys.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
the
here's what
Oscars.
we talked about this when it was on about a month ago on this program. And what was unique about the award show, first of all, it was only 2 hours.
Mhm.
Secondly, there was no official host. They had some people walk out and announce, but there was no host. And thirdly, it was a ton of performances. But because it was on the app, there were no commercials. You watched it right through, which allowed them to make it 2 hours. And
Interesting.
not every category, even the big categories, they would just flash up. Here's the winner of this. They didn't have the whole thing where they walked up and did it. They're like, here's the 5 announcers, and the winner is. And that winner, I must have been told, he or she would be standing on stage right away to give their acceptance speech. So they didn't do the whole 5-panel, thing
Okay.
of like waiting. Is it going to be me? Is it going to be me? It was
gonna
pretty
be
much
me.
an hour and 20 minutes of performances, an hour and a half of performances, and then 30 minutes of awards on an award
Nice.
show.
Did they just leave Chris Stapleton on the stage and just hand him the awards while they walked around?
Well, he did. No, but he did where he performed, and then about less than 10 minutes later, he was on stage accepting.
I'm sure
So
he
he had
was.
to switch gears in his head for sure to.
Yep. At
go
this
do
point, I think he's used to it, which deservedly. I
Probably,
do really
yeah.
like me some Stapleton.
But
so.
the point of that is they changed formats, they changed platform, 521%.
And they had success.
I think this is the future of music award shows
More
to where
music, less talk.
yes.
Well, after again, what happened at the Oscars, I bet there will be very little talk. No more joking. Frankly, I would be more excited to watch music and award shows if there was more performances. But I guess the Oscars is different.
I
But
like
the
the
Grammys
host. The
too,
host gives it a flavor, man. It gives it
yeah.
It differentiates from the year before.
Makes sense with Grammys and it makes sense with the CMTs and stuff.
Yeah.
Pop music awards. I guess it doesn't make sense for the Oscars and stuff like that. You'd want to have comedians.
For me, there's always. I remember Oscars and all award shows by that one person who gives a different, unique speech, a thank you speech,
Yeah.
or the host that something happens. Like I remember maybe 20 years ago, there was a older gentleman named Jack Palance who was 80 years old and he won his first Oscar and he got on the stage and did push-ups. And so Billy Crystal made the joke. He did push-ups at the beginning at age 80, and then so Billy Crystal made jokes throughout the whole night. It's like, we just got an update on Jack Palance. He's now swimming to England just to prove he's still in shape. And so if you remove the host,
Yeah.
those opportunities are taken away.
Yeah, and I do love me some comedy.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
here's to hoping. Moving forward, this is very exciting. In fact, I just want to say how exciting this is in general, because I think it can be easy to talk about news when we have issues.
Right.
And then sometimes as the issues alleviate, we forget to talk about them. But can we talk about that we're kind of having a normal life for a second again?
Right.
Man, I'm going to see concerts. I'm going to the grocery store. I don't have a mask on 90% of the time.
Right.
I'm watching a lot of live music. We're having barbecues. And we got Founders Day coming back in Dripping Springs. I mean, I'm so happy.
It's this weekend.
Right now. It is this weekend. I'm so happy. Like, I'm really happy. I don't even know how to like process it. And I kind of forgot to talk about it because it's like when we're like, oh, hey, by the way, we have new COVID mandates. Nobody's going. It's like you have to talk about it. But we've just kind of been back living life again. And man, I'm feeling great.
I think it depends on where you live. I mean, for me, even when I go to the doctors, I see the personnel wearing masks, but the people in the lobby and waiting, they're not even wearing masks anymore. It's only the airport. But if you live in a big city like New York City or Houston or downtown, I think the mask mandate things are still around. But out here in the exurbs,
I think in a lot of places. I mean, I just want it to be noted. I don't mind wearing a mask at all. I'm happy to wear a mask if I need to wear a mask. I just know they've been lifted in a lot of places, and it's not out here. It's Travis. It's Austin. It's downtown Austin. So and they're more constricted than exterior.
Well, because people are more packed in like sardines.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I'm like, and that's kind of outside the point for me. I derail.
Well, it's relative to the next news.
The relative
news
is that it's just 100%. And just like, I'm just happy to be out doing things again. Even if I had to wear a mask, I'd do it. I'm just happy to be out doing things, which leading into what's the news
big news. Drum roll. So the first time in 3 years, I believe, possibly 2 years, Willie Nelson 4th of July barbecue concert, which has been around for decades and decades, it is returning to in person. Last year, because of the pandemic, it was online, it was virtual, but the Willie Nelson barbecue 4th of July picnic / concert will be held at Q2 Stadium, where the soccer team in Austin, FC Austin,
That's a big
plays.
Stadium.
Yeah, the event is going to figure Willie Nelson, Jason Isbell, who you like, 400 unit, Tyler Childers, who I love Tyler Childers, by the way, unbelievable voice. Brother Osborne, I don't really care about them. Midland, who's good. Charlie Crockett, he's a local boy. And then a couple other people I don't know. But Steve Earle is going to be there in a sleep of the wheel. But anyway, that's a big day of music. The Q2 Stadium is really state-of-the-art.
Cool.
Beautifully laid out. Like every other stadium, it can be a tad difficult to get in and out of. But once you get there, it's definitely a super modern facilities. So 4th of July, I assume they're having it on the actual 4th of July. But Willie Nelson at the age of 86, 87 now, still up there doing this 4th of July thing, but coming back to in person. So that's a big deal in my opinion.
I think that's a huge deal. And I have a bit of a confession, but I have never actually been to one of Willie Nelson's 4th of July's picnics. So maybe this year's the year.
Yeah.
Head on out. I do find myself playing music typically on 4th of July.
Yeah.
But I haven't been playing music every day of 4th of July my whole life.
A playing musician.
Alas, it is. But
you either spend money or make money.
100%.
I would say this. Normally, I would say go make money. However, I do want to remind you how old Willie Nelson is. Your opportunities to see him.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say I've never seen Willie.
Right. Okay.
I just said I've never been to the picnic. I've seen
your
Willie.
Opportunity to go to that particular event, and it's been at that place when I was much younger. I lived in Dallas Fort Worth. They used to have that place at Fort Worth, the Stockyards, and that's when I saw him. And it was so blazing hot because they held it on the concrete.
Yep.
On the 4th of July. And being I was much younger and thinner then, so I could take it. But gosh, it was just brutal because they had it packed in with a lot of air. I think that's not the way it's going to be at FC because it's a much more open air circulate and there's bathrooms versus the porta potties that I had to go to, and so I anticipate it'll be a much more pleasant experience.
Probably true, Darren. I just want you to know that I still think you're beautiful. So
I may go to this, but I'm going to intentionally buy the seats. They're like last row. That way they're in the shade. Yeah, that way they're in the shade the whole time.
There you go, up at the top.
Anyway, so that's the news segment.
The news. We did a lot of news. So, Darren, let's go ahead and do our nice. Well done. We need a ticker.